In our final episode with Dan Stern, we get a peek inside his approaches for finding talent. We learn about store design strategies, and we find out about Dan's penchant for building custom motorcycles. Ladies and gentlemen, Dangerous Dan Stern. You once found a motor clothes person while boarding a commuter train.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Uh, you know, I look for attitude. So Shirley and I are headed downtown, and we get on this commuter train, and we're kind of towards the front, and I see this woman come up, and she's got a baby in a stroller, and this young gal that was in front of her, probably mid-20s or so. Well, she was in her mid-20s. She, without being asked, turned around and said to the woman, "Can I help you?" And she reached down and picked up the front half of the stroller, and the woman picked up the back half of the stroller, and in they went. And the woman thanked the gal that helped her profusely, and she sat down and went to read her book. And I turned to her and I said, "Pardon me." I said, "Where do you work?" And she told me, and I said, "Are you happy?" And she said, "It's okay." And I said, "Do you want to work in a place that's more fun? You like motorcycles?" She said, "My dad rides." I said, "Well, here's my business card, and I really want to talk to you."
Yeah.
And we ended up hiring her. Because there's a person that cared about somebody else. They cared, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that was a good hire. I've got a bunch of them like that. I found Sean. Sean was a vacuum salesman. Okay, Sean sold me a vacuum. And I asked Sean, here's a young guy, again in his 20s. How does a 20-year-old know about vacuum cleaners? Right. And he goes, "I used to be in the photo department next to the vacuum cleaner guy, and I heard everything he said, and I knew I could make more money working over there." Oh, here's a guy who wants to learn, be more, better himself. I hired Sean. I found Albert at the boot barn. I found Andrew Michelson working at Ford. He was a service writer. So the talent, good employees, they have jobs. People that come in that are unemployed looking for a job, they're unemployed for a reason.
Yes.
So no,
right.
You got to go steal them.
That's right. Oh my God, that's so funny, Dad. I always say that. How do you get talent? I always say steal them. Yeah. And you don't steal them from the other dealers, because those people are terrible.
No. They are terrible.
You got to find somebody else. That's wild.
I only had one guy that I ever hired from another store that worked out. Only one. Everyone else had to go.
That's crazy.
Look at it. I can't train talent. I mean, I can train talent. I can't train attitude. That's right. I would hire attitude. I'd hire attitude.
You have to hire for enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a final question for you. But before we do that, can we look at some pictures?
I don't know.
I want to look at some pictures, and I want you to tell us. And I want you to tell us what we're looking at. All right. So here we go.
All right.
Dan, pray tell. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
What are we looking at, Dan?
About 1979. Hey, this kid's going to college, and he's about to date your daughter. Nice. He's going to marry her.
You gotta love it. What in God's name are you riding?
500cc Triumph. Ignore that oil slick underneath the pipe there.
Yes, right. No, never mind that.
Just this is before choppers were in vogue, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of built something that I could have a lot of fun with, and going to school, but motorcycles really were my passion. And again, you're never going to find me on a golf course because I don't know anything about golf. Right.
Now let me ask you something. Did you rake this frame yourself?
I did actually everything on that bike. I had been building cars at a very young age, and then motorcycles stumbled into it. And I think I picked up that engine and frame, the stock frame at the time, for $50 or something, So it was just more of a mechanical challenge than anything else. I feel bad for my in-laws.
Now I have to ask you, did Shirley know you at the time?
Yes, we met. She was running around on a rigid frame with me. a proper girl from the north side and this guy from the south side. Yeah, that was
Well, we're gonna have to get Shirley on the line here. That's just showing some questionable judgment. Okay, and here you are. You're booking to Sturgis. This was
yeah,
last year or this
yeah,
year.
yeah. This year, yeah. I've been now. I mean, of course, custom chrome. I used to go every year, but now I try to go every 4 or 5 years. We ride right out from here to there, go back roads the whole way. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And I
Yeah.
built that road glide too. There's a ton of custom work. It was featured in a magazine and all that. But everything I build, I ride. I like riding them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course you do.
yeah.
So then here was House of Thunder, and you were in Hollister for a couple of years before you moved to this
I
location,
was.
right?
I was. Yeah,
Okay. And then here's you and your beautiful wife. This was opening day at
it
this
was.
location in 2004.
Yep. We built that building from the ground up. It was a new point, and on the freeway. You know, I really this of course was back in 1990, late 99, talking to Harley and expressing my desire to build a state-of-the-art facility in a great location and in a market that I thought was underserved. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right
yeah,
on. Okay, and here we go. Here was the interior shot.
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
Shirley
That
Home.
really spent a lot of nights thinking about this to make it um, subliminally, you know, somewhat what people wanted. So there's a huge dome in it that was painted to look like sky, and it did a sunrise, a sunset setting in it, and the floor was done as a distressed leather. So a lot of just one of the biggest compliments I got was people would say you could tell a motorcycle guy designed this store,
Oh,
and
how
so
great. Now tell us
yeah,
about this. Tell us about this dome. Did you say it would change colors during the day or?
yeah. There's a whole. Of course, I got the idea from Las Vegas, from one of the casinos that did it, and I did the research in it, and I found a better way to do it. And there's a company that the whole perimeter of that dome shines indirect light up on it, and we had a program that changed the lighting that did a soft sunrise on one end of the dome and would light it up and get brighter, brighter, brighter. It'd take a I want to say 2 hours,
Yeah.
and then it would slowly start setting, and then it would start over again. And then we
That's
programmed other fun things in it. There was a Christmas
exactly. Was that
program.
the Bellagio that has that
Yeah,
sky?
I think
Yeah,
so. I think
that's
so.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to give you the feeling when you came in, you know, that you were first off the wow factor, right? That you're outside, you're still outside. And
Mm.
then, you know, down to the salesman's cubicles, the walls were actually made out of real leather, so you could smell the leather. And then the interior walls of it, the parts walls, I hate linear flat walls. And I figured that out by going to, I want to say it was might have been a Disney store or something. And I
Hmm.
kept studying what all these people were doing in that store. And I tracked down the store designer, and he explained to me what he did and why he did it. So yeah, you know, didn't you know steal good ideas and had a bunch of good ideas.
Yeah, right. So now, and didn't you had some sort of hassle with the motor company because you wanted to put the service door right alongside of the
Oh,
parts counter or something, right?
yeah, that was an ongoing argument. I didn't tell them I was doing this because I knew it was going to be a problem. So the service counter literally is elbow to elbow with the parts counter. So to get to the service uh, department, we didn't have a door for you to come in. So you had to walk in the front. So to go to the service counter, of course, it's in the back near the parts department. So you would walk by new motorcycles, you would walk all the way there. And then our staff would go out the front with you back through all of the product and look at your motorcycle and then walk you back through all the product again. But here's the reason I did this. And we knew this going in. Typically, right, typical service department, the significant other pulls up, waits for you to drop your bike off. They stay in the car. Well, not in ours. The significant other came out because they saw you go through the front door. They went through the front door. So they would be shopping while we were working with the service customer. And, you know, then the guy's like, well, where do I take my bike? I'm like, no, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
Right on.
So those numbers went way up. And occasionally during turnover inside Harley themselves, we would have somebody to try to argue that, no, I need a separate entrance. But we all know we've been in every service department. You walk in the back in the service department, you hand them your keys. You might see a couple parts hanging up, but you don't see the motor clothes. You don't see the new bikes. You don't
Right.
see any of that. So Conversely, while customers were waiting in line for the service writers to talk to them, they're looking at new bikes or they're
So,
looking at
so just
product.
by sheer placement of the entrance to the service department, you
Yeah,
were able to create lift.
created a tremendous, when you talk about dollars per motorcycle, yeah, it was great. It was
That's
great.
wild. All right,
It
let's.
took a while for the customers to adjust to it. And
I
anybody
bet.
coming from out of town, we'd laugh, honestly. They would circle the building looking for the
Yeah. How do
service
I get
entrance.
in? All right. So, and you're building today. I mean, here you are. Tell us about this unit.
Well, that has been in construction for a lot of years. I started and stopped. So everything on that's hand formed. Everything. It's all out of fiberglass. I made bucks. I made molds. Pulled the parts out of the molds. You'll notice it's a left-hand sidecar because
Yeah.
being nicknamed Dangerous Dan surely faces the oncoming traffic. So the sidecar itself is on air ride. So when I park it, I dump it and it goes all the way to the ground.
Huh?
Those are real Halabrand car wheels that I took 6 of them and cut them in half and welded them together. And that actually is, I've been showing that steadily this year. I haven't driven it too much. I think it's only got about 80 miles on it. And it'll be in Pomona the end of January at the Grand National Roadster Show. So it'll start getting used after I finish touring it around a little bit. But that, honestly, I probably got about 10 years worth of work in that bike.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then tell us about. So this is that bike, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I won, I forgot what you call it. It's the builders show tied in with the new motorcycle progressive shows that are going around the country. So we won the Sonoma show back in the summer sometime, I think it was.
Man,
So
so you're just
yeah,
not,
that's
you
a
just don't talk about it. You do it. All right. And here's the
yeah.
other thing. What are we looking at here? You're a patent holder?
Yeah, I am. These are one of those believe it or not kind of things, I guess. So, of course, drag racing, and did that all during custom chrome. I still do it for fun every now and then. I had an FXR that we had running, making about 92 horsepower out of a 80-inch bike. And just on the street, I kept hitting the lever trying to go to another gear. And of course, again, I'm a drag racing fan. So at that time, the pro stock cars were running 6 speeds. And it dawned on me, some of the Japanese sport bikes had 6 speeds. So I'm familiar enough with transmissions that I know that the 5 and the 4 speed in Harleys is so overbuilt that I could reduce the gear profile and put a 6th gear in the same case. So I went to work at that and I figured out the ratios that were needed. This is when I was working at Custom Chrome. And then I presented it as a viable product and everybody got excited about it. So we brought in a couple of real engineers because I just act like one. And then I knew it was going to be hugely successful. So we patented it. And so, yeah, I'm officially the patent owner of the patent of 6-speed transmissions for Harley Davidsons.
The 6-speed
So,
conversion. You gotta love
yeah,
that,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's really
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Okay, so to round things out, if you had 2 or 3 final pieces of advice that you would share with dealers about how to find or attract or develop or retain talent, what would those 2 or 3 pieces of final advice be?
Well, God, um, I think retention is probably in this day and age is more important almost than finding. And like I said, we talked about finding them. I think you just got to have your eyes open. But I think retention, honestly, get off your ass and go work shoulder to shoulder with your staff. If you're not willing to do that, I'm going to be real blunt. It's probably time to sell your store. Okay, so you're not ready to sell your store. Manage by using the 3 Ws. Communicate better, and then use the open book management or use some form of it to
Yeah.
educate people where their paycheck comes from and how they can earn more, and show them, well, gee, if the whole store makes more, then I can pay you more. That's not a bad thing. I mean, it's so hard for young people to make a living. So, your goal should be paying them more. And honestly, if everybody's making more, get rid
Yeah.
of that dead weight. Get rid of that dead weight. And you know what? For part of retention, make it fun. Make it fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my guys drag racing. I would, if it was hot out, I walked in with an armload of ice cream. Two of my guys who were celebrating a 10-year anniversary with me, I took them to Las Vegas and we raced exotic cars. Yeah, I wanted to race exotic cars too. So I got the luxury of doing that. But they come back, and then it sets the tone to the rest of the staff that, oh my God, they care about me.
Yeah.
So, and I did, I really did. And, lastly, there's this guy I know, it's Mark Rodgers, and he puts these really good practices on the internet. I'm not getting paid to say this, by the way. And I think people really need to listen to some of those. And that the manager damager one you did recently, I think everybody really ought to go back and look and listen to that, because that's true. So, create an environment, look at your budget, hey, the last 2 years have been crazy good. I don't think anybody can explain why. I don't think it's going to be this crazy good going forward, but hopefully you got a little bit of surplus in cash, and maybe you should launch a 401k. Maybe you should look at your benefit package. That's how you're going to get people to stay. A little more benefits, maybe, but it's more environment. Make it fun.
Right.
Make it fun.
Well, Dan, I have to tell you, this was fun for me because you and I, my friend, are cut from the same cloth.
Scary.
So I certainly appreciate the kind words. Dan Stern, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you very much. Take care.
I hope you enjoyed our series with Dan. He's an extraordinary operator, an innovative business mind, and just one fun motorcycle guy. There was so much for dealers to glean in these episodes. If you're smart, you'll watch them again. Now, go sell something, will you?